Hello and welcome back. Happy Monday. How are you today, Sarah?
I love Money Monday. It's my
Me
favorite
too.
day.
So good.
So
So,
good. We're preparing for a storm.
oh yeah.
Yep. So we had to check like our house, and we had to get like downspouts fixed and stuff. We're expecting some major flooding, but I'm keeping a positive mind, and I've been manifesting and writing out my affirmations on the outcome that I want.
Awesome. And that's what it'll be.
Yep.
We're so excited to be here today. Start of a new week, fresh choices to be made. And today we want to talk about a topic that's pretty interesting, and it's what kind of world do you see, right? So,
Hmm.
I feel like this is shaped into our lives as our upbringing, right? Like when we're
Yeah.
brought up, it's how we're brought up, the world that we see through our parents' eyes, right? And how we're taught.
Yeah. And the news, right?
Yeah.
So take this all with a grain of salt, guys. Everybody's entitled to their own perspective. Once again, we are not financial advisors or CPAs of any kind. Anything that we talk about here is based on our experience and what it is that we go through trial and error. And I'm studying money, right? Like I'm studying what it takes to become rich, and that's such a dirty word, right? People are like, oh, why do you want to be rich? Like, rich people are evil and money is evil, and like you're such a snob and people won't like you. Did did you hear that a lot? I did. I
Mm-hmm.
heard money doesn't grow on trees. The rich have it so much better. I can't afford it. Work hard. I grew up that way. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the world that I saw. I saw that I was taught that mechanics are evil and they're scammers and they're just there to take your money. Right? I was taught that, like, don't go to the dealership. They're just going to take your money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or this one's a weird one that was ingrained in me. Only go to the good gas stations. The other gas stations have shitty gas.
Right?
Like, it's gas. Like, it's my vehicle to get me to point A to point B, which we're going to talk about on Thursday. So make sure you check in on Thursday on vehicles. I'm excited for that. But that's how I grew up. I grew up that everything was evil. The world was shit. Everybody was pissed off and angry all the time.
And you know what? The world I grew up in, which I feel like a lot of people do, is you you're born, you grow up through your childhood, and then as soon as you can get to work, you work your ass off, you don't say no to anything. That's what you do, right? So in my mind, growing up like that, the world I seen was it's hard, right? Because it's a
Mm-hmm.
struggle every day, it's putting it to the grind. And that was my mentality until I stepped out of it, and I took a step back, and I thought, no, wait a minute. Like what do I want my future to look like? What world do I want to live in? But that's how
Yeah.
I grew up. I grew up with grind and, you know, don't want more than you need. You don't
Yep.
need more than you have. If you have a roof over your head and you have food on the table, that's all you need.
Yep.
But who made that rule?
I know. Right. To be rich in God is to be poor in purse. So, Kayla, you and I grew up the same. We grew up that there's always problems if you don't have enough money,
Yeah.
right? There's always
Yep.
problems if you don't have enough money. We lived in emergency mode. We had just enough to survive. If there was an emergency, we wouldn't survive. And
Absolutely.
so now that we've been studying this for 22 months almost, we understand that there is too much money. We know that there's so much money out there. We know that there are children out there making millions of dollars a day. We are living in a society where the younger generation are making more money than the parents ever have. We are in the information revolution right now. There are so many ways to make money. So it's the way you see it. Are you constantly stuck to the news and seeing the bad that's happening? Are you listening to Joe down the street who's telling you that the stock market is crashing and the housing market is crashing? I hear so many conversations, like so many conversations. If I had enough money, I would do this. I'm seeing TikToks. I can't wait till the housing market crashes so I can buy a house. Why are you praying for that? Why don't you pray to be stronger? Ask for more guidance to be stronger so that you can earn more money. This is not a new concept. Earning money is not new.
No.
It's something that we've always done. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that'll always be done, whether it's money, which we call it, or some means of exchange, right? It
Yeah.
used to be coins. It used to be land. It used to be
Food.
barter and trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, food, animals, right? Now it just happens to be a piece of paper. Actually, it's not even paper anymore. It's just digital numbers. It doesn't even
Yeah,
exist.
it's all
Yeah.
on a screen now.
Yeah. So, there are two kinds of money problems. One problem is not enough money. The other problem is too much money. So which type of money problem do you want?
Mm-hmm. And
Right?
you know,
Because,
yeah. Go ahead, Sarah.
because here's the thing. If you have too much money, guess what? More money, more problems, right? Who heard that one?
Yeah.
But that's
And
only if you allow that to happen.
yeah,
Right?
absolutely. And I think like everybody sees money differently, right? And that's what we're getting at here. Like, what kind of world do you live in regards to money? And the thing is, it's not, you know, the money that people are confused about. It's the belief on how they're going to
Bingo.
get it, right?
Yep.
It's the
Not only
belief on,
that,
yeah,
it's do they deserve it?
yeah,
Why is it that so many people win the lottery and then lose it all in a couple of years? Why is it that so many people who suddenly become rich by like inheritance, big jackpots, lottery, they suddenly become poor again because psychologically, all they know is a world of not having enough money. So they lose it all. They're suddenly found wealth, and then they go back to the only world of money they know, a world of not having enough money.
yeah. And you know what? Looking at everything money now and really focusing on that, I feel like everybody's focus every single day is money, right? Because everyone's worried about how they're going to buy food, how they're going to get groceries, how they're going to pay the bills, how they're going to do everything. Money is life. That's it's simple. Money is life, but it's the belief on how you're going to earn that, and that's the world that you live in, is the belief of that.
Okay, you said something so interesting there. Like, we need money to pay for food. Where does the food come from?
Mm-hmm.
People plant seeds. That's where the food come from. It doesn't come from money, right? People build houses. It doesn't come from money. It's the people. Doctors change lives. It doesn't come from money. But somewhere down the line in history, we put monetary value to everything, right? Everything. So if you've never seen the movie Zeitgeist, I highly recommend it. Complete mindfuck though. Like you gotta go into that with an open mind. It is crazy. You have to also be mentally prepared to block some shit out too. But money is just something that was created to provide like diversity, right? So like rich, middle, poor. Like that's how it works. And so whatever your reality is about money on the inside, and we're gonna drill this into your head over and over and over again. Like it's the beliefs. If you haven't come to our weekly webinar, it's all about beliefs and your belief on money and how to change that belief. So make sure you hit us up this week. So whatever your reality about money on the inside of you is the reality of money on the outside of you. You cannot change your outside reality until you first change your inside reality about money. My favorite story, when sometimes, because we still have doubt. Elite people still have doubt. Successful people still have doubt, right? But we learn how to change that. We learn how to change it. Is Donald Trump, right? In the early 90s, he was like almost $1 billion in the early 90s. Okay, was almost $1 billion in personal debt and almost $9 billion in corporate debt. And when they did an interview on him, they asked him, what are you going to do? Like, are you worried? And he's like, worrying is a waste of time. Worrying gets in my way of working to solve these problems.
It does.
So if you're not good with money, what are you doing to solve that problem? We're going to talk about that on Thursday. We're going to talk about the vehicles. We're really going to start to get into the investing aspect of it on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. And I want to bring something like easier to understand. So if you're listening and you're like, I'm making money, but how do I make more? And the question's always how, right?
Yep.
People want to know how am I supposed to make more? How do I get a raise? How do I do this? Right? So the how is you. The
Yep.
how is your mentality. The how is your beliefs. So wherever you are in your life right now, if you're very successful, if you're, you know, in your mind successful where everything's paid, you don't have anything to pay and you have money still to do freely what you like, or if you're struggling and you're not getting bills paid and checks are bouncing, your success is your mentality.
Yep.
It's as simple as that, right? If you're not making money and your checks are bouncing, that's the way you're thinking, right? If you're successful and you have lots of money and you have money to donate and you have money to give to people and you have money to go buy somebody this year a whole family dinner, that's not the same mentality as somebody who's not getting by. Can you see
Yep.
the difference? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. It's your mentality, and how you see yourself first is how you're going to see your world.
So, like, why is it that there's, doctors out there who do make three, four, $500,000 a year? Why are they broke? Same with lawyers, right? Anybody who has the job, I'm using quotations, that makes them a lot of money. Why is it that a lot of them are still living pay to pay? It's all about your mindset. I'm going to read a paragraph here from Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. So, a person who suddenly comes into a lot of money and goes broke because they will see only one side of the coin. In other words, they handle the money in the same way they always did, which is the reason they were poor or struggled in the first place. They see only a world of not enough money. The safest thing that people can do is just put money in the bank and live off the interest only. People who can see the other side of the coin would take that money and multiply it rapidly and safely. They can do that because they see the other side of the coin, where there's a world of too much money. They use their money to get to the other side faster, while everyone else uses money to become poorer faster. I'm going to say it again. If you put your money into a savings account in the same bank that you go to and you ask for a mortgage, you are borrowing your own money and you're paying interest on your own money.
Boom. It's
Right?
the truth. It
Yep.
really is. And
Here's another fact, okay? The banks only cover up to like 25%. I'm pretty sure ours here in Canada, don't quote me on this, but I kind of read the fine print. You guys should also read terms and conditions always on contracts. I believe we're only covered up to $100,000 in some of the banks. So if I have $1 million in there and the bank goes bankrupt, I only get $100,000.
crazy, right?
Yep. I don't know where down the line people thought that it was safe to put money in a bank.
It's yeah, it's just over the time somebody had the thought to say this is the right thing to do, and they told somebody and it became a belief, right? It
Yep.
became a belief in society that you need to keep your money in a bank and you need to keep it safe in the bank.
Yep.
It's not
And
keeping
so
it safe.
I know. So that's where security and scarcity, right? They're hand in hand. So the more a person seeks security, the more scarcity they will have in their life. Security and scarcity go hand in hand. That is why people who seek job security or guarantees are often the people with less abundance in their life. And you can see this. You can see this in your circle of friends. You can see this in your family. You can see this in your grandparents who still hide money in the mattress, right?
Yeah.
Those are the ones who have less abundance. And one of the reasons that, the 90-10 rule, 90% of the population owns 10% of all the money, holds true, is that most people spend their lives seeking more security instead of seeking more financial skills. The more financial skills you have, the more abundance you will have in your life.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, what is security?
Right?
What is it? Like everybody's belief of security is different, right? And there's really no such thing as security.
So I watched a movie that I'd never seen before. It's called Deep Impact.
Oh yeah.
Never saw it. Great movie. And when I watch movies like this, I say things out loud that, you know, people would think I'm crazy. And so Donnie and I are sitting here and we're watching it on, you know, Saturday night. I think we're watching it. And I said, what if the world just blows up? Like, then what? Then everything's gone. Like why are we here suffering for money and like people are worried about toilet paper? Like, I'm like, what if it just blows up? What if Mother Nature's like, you know what? I'm done. Here's an asteroid. You know, I'm gonna put an asteroid onto the planet and I'm gonna blow everybody up. And like everybody's like, oh, we'll just go to a cave. What if the world blows up? Like, then what? Did you live your life to the fullest?
I
What?
love
Why? Like, why? We are literally on a fucking planet orbiting in outer space. We are floating, and we're just fucking on this asteroid that floats in the space.
I love you,
Right?
Sarah. And I love that you just brought that up, and it's so funny to me because I was sitting this weekend in a tree hunting, and I was like, I think of sometimes the stupidest shit, but I was literally sitting there looking at the fields, like watching the sunset, and I was thinking, I was like, where the fuck did I come from? Like,
Right?
honestly, where did I come from? My parents, obviously, their parents, their parents, their parents, but like your creator, God, universe, whatever.
Yeah.
But where the fuck did he come from?
Right?
I was
I
like,
always
where,
ask
like,
that
when
question.
did humans start living here and how did it come about? But like, I was thinking, nobody thinks of that shit. They just wake up, they get born into this world, they go about how their parents teach them. And like, I think of that weird shit. I
I
don't
know.
know. You
Okay.
obviously do.
Yeah. Let's talk about weird, okay? We've been on this planet for millions of years, but it's only 2022.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come? Okay, and time. How do we know time is correct? Right? So I was like reading Think and Grow Rich, right? And there's a part where a guy stops and he adjusts his clock based on the whistle of the workplace, and the guy's like, I adjust my clock based on this. Like, so whose clock is right?
Yeah.
Right? Whose clock is right?
It's
And I think
crazy.
it's so crazy.
Because literally we get born into this world. It's almost like every parent from their parent passed down has like your belief system and everything they believe that they're going to teach you almost in a handbook. And
Yeah,
that's how you're going to grow up until you change it.
it's totally a handbook. You get it at school.
Yeah.
They teach it to you in school. It's the handbook of life. Didn't you know this?
And it's not a good fucking handbook.
It's calculus.
Yeah. It's not a good handbook at all because literally I'm not going to say everything that I learned in school wasn't useful, but I mean, the stuff I've learned the past 2 years of diving into mindset and money and everything in between with meditation, visualization, Reiki, business, like you're not taught this in school. You're not taught about you in school or the world that you see or your beliefs. Like nobody teaches you that.
Why don't they teach courage, confidence, finances, entrepreneurship? Why don't they teach that? Because you're absolutely right. There is no security. Like, when you start to realize that you're living on a fucking rock and that rock could go out of orbit at any time or the sun could blow up and there is absolutely no guarantees in this world and you are literally just experiencing this human experience, when you start to understand that, you will take more risks. And the more risk you take, the more opportunities come. And the more opportunities come, the bigger the financial payout, which is what you're seeking. Everybody's seeking that financial payout because they're seeking the security that it comes with. They're seeking that protection that it comes with, right? The more a person seeks security, the less they can see of the opportunities that abound. They see only one side of the coin and they never see the other side. Mm-hmm. That's why the more they seek security, the less opportunity they see on the flip side of the coin. As the great baseball player Yogi Berra once said, strike out just 7 out of 10 times and you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, if he came to bat 1,000 times in his baseball career and if he struck out only 700 times, he would still be in the Hall of Fame. Most people are security conscious and they live their entire lives avoiding striking out once because we
Wow.
make up this shit in our head that without money we won't be secure. We make up things in our head that haven't even happened, right? So like me going down that inflatable slide that Donnie pushed me down, I'm like, this thing's gonna collapse in on me, I'm gonna suffocate, I'm gonna die. And here meanwhile all these people are like, wee, and I'm like, nope, I'm like holding on for dear life, and Donnie's like, push. It was the best experience of my life.
And you
Sometimes you
know
need
what?
that push.
Yeah, and I love that you brought this up, Sarah, because I was just thinking this weekend too. I was looking online um at stuff for Christmas for the kids, and I'm not going crazy this year. I never really have, but also doing all of this work has taught me like it's not about the material things. Like
No,
for me at least. Some
kids
people
have too
like
much
that.
shit.
Yeah. So anyways, I was looking at stuff last night on Amazon, and I was thinking like, holy fuck, man, I had 3 things in the cart and it was $391 for a little table and 2 chairs and little magnetic blocks and then a blind for a bedroom. And I was like, holy shit, man, $400. Okay, that's 2 things for your kids. And I was thinking about money, and I was thinking like, this is insane that people have things in their life where they're like, nope, this is going to happen because it has to. And they find a way, right? They find a way to make it happen.
Yeah,
If a
especially
bill,
at Christmas.
yeah, and then a bill comes up, you might stress about the money, but you always find a way, right? But I don't get it because people in their lives aren't happy for 1 year. Some people are never happy their entire life. And there's opportunity knocking at their door every single day. There's things out there for them to get into every single day. There's something like this that's absolutely free. You can listen to it to help you, and people won't find a way for it. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, no matter what happens, if I were to tell you today, I'm going to give you a bill for $1,000 and I'm going to change your life, I'm sorry, I can't do that. There's no way. I don't have the money. There's no possibility. But you can go spend $1,000 this week on shit that your kids might never play with
Toys R
3
Us.
times. Exactly. And you will find a way to do it. But when it
Yeah.
comes to your life and your future, not only your future, but your kids' future that are watching you, I'm sorry, I can't do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
What?
So that's the mindset, right? So
Yeah.
that's coming from a world of not enough money. I only
Mhm.
have enough money to make my kids happy. I don't have enough money to show them what's possible to be truly happy,
Absolutely.
right?
That's the world we see.
I'll never forget my niece's first birthday. I went out and I bought like probably $300 worth of stuff. All she wanted to play with was the fucking ribbon in the box.
Yeah.
That's it. Like she would have been happy with just that. And so like it makes me like I keep bringing that image up because I'm like they don't understand stuff. It's something that's programmed into them. You program them with I'm not a parent, but like I see these like 1-year-old birthday parties that cost more than my wedding. And I'm like, how do you top that every year? Right? Like you've programmed that now they expect it every year. Like how do you like I remember just going to, for like first 5 years of my life, we went to McDonald's and we had that like, sugar cake. Do you even
Yeah.
remember those? Were you even born around those?
Sugar King, no.
Like the McDonald's cake. It was like a McDonald's cake and it was
Really?
like all sugar. Like it was like an instant high. Like you see these kids, like I go back to my photos from my birthday and like every kid has like these massive eyes because they're just like sugared out,
Yeah.
right? And that's
My
how I did my birthdays. Like my birthdays were McDonald's.
Yeah, and you know what, Sarah? I'm not gonna lie. Like right now, like I've it's I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling with Christmas this year in my mindset of not buying things for my kids. Like I really am, because my upbringing, the tree was stacked every year.
Mm-hmm.
My like since I've had Noah's 2, my youngest is 10 months old, but Noah's first Christmas and second Christmas, this will be his third. I did what I knew growing up, which I stacked the tree because that was my belief, right? And I've seen like this is kind of where it hits home for me as a parent, because I've seen on like mom groups or school groups, this is where you see the belief and mindset of every parent. So there's comments coming in where, can you put um because kids go to school after Christmas and, oh my god, look what Santa brought me, and this and this, right? The mindset of parents that are wealthy and successful will put from Santa on these big gifts and then a few things for mom and dad, right? The next kid, where their parents' mindset isn't all there and they don't know or understand fully how to be successful and make money work for them, have maybe two things from Santa, two things from mom and dad. So those kids now at school are talking about, well, why'd Santa bring you 10 things and I only got two, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
is where my mindset is. So I'm thinking, so my kid's going to go to school with the belief that almost everyone in society has, where you stack the tree. They're going to get two things this year, and my what I'm doing is I'm just putting the money that I would spend on gifts that they don't really use, and I'm going to put it in their bank account. They're
Yeah,
not going
yeah.
to they're not fully going to understand it, but they don't even understand, like Sarah just said, stuff yet. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been hard for me to undo all of the belief in my entire life of 27 years of waking up in the morning, having a fuck ton of presents under the tree, and then a movie and hot chocolate or whatever, right? That's not going to be this year, but I've been struggling thinking like I have to fill the tree. I have to put
Mm-hmm.
presents under
Yep.
the tree because
Gotta
that's how
unstuck
I
that
grew up.
mind.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I'm changing that, and I feel so good about it because I know that if I do this now, my kids are going to do this and they're
Just
going to grow up.
imagine that $400, how much that $400 will be when he's 18 years old,
Yeah, and
right?
what the $400 would even do now, which is hardly anything. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But if you put it into like a TFSA or into, stocks and bonds or,
Yeah.
into a business, right? If you buy shares in a business, and when he's 18, like that's in 16 years, you can compound that over and over and over again. You can buy
But
multiple real estate properties and compound that over and over again.
yeah, and it's
And
it's it's just crazy because like this is kind of why I wanted to bring it up, because it's the world that we see, right? And every parent wants to give their children the world. But what are you doing as a parent that's going to give them the world,
mm,
right? If what you're
mhm.
doing right now, like look at where you are as a parent. Look at what you're doing, because
And
that's what you're
ask yourself, do you want your children to feel the way you are feeling right now? Because here's the thing, people, children grow up, right? They grow up. And
yeah.
it's not fucking easy being an adult with all of these thoughts.
Yep.
And they're going to adopt the same characteristics that you have. It doesn't matter if you want better for them. If you want better for them, you have to be better.
Yeah.
Period. You have to break that generational curse.
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to say. Like, wherever you are right now as a parent, stop for a second and freeze time and think, when your kid is your age and they're in the exact same place you are you going to be happy about it? Or are you going to say, I want better for them? The same shit you're saying right now.
We're gonna talk next week. Sorry, we're gonna talk on a Thursday about like the different vehicles to investing, but we're gonna also talk about the different things people invest in, and some of them invest in a large family so that they have people to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, people invest in large families so that when they are elder, there is a line of people to take care of them.
That's the truth.
That's an investment, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's all your world all starts within. So
Yeah.
whatever you're seeing on the outside is what's happening on the inside. So if you want your world to change and you want your vision of your reality or whatever you're creating today to change, that has to change within. It has to change in your mindset and your thoughts and everything that you do inside. Because, like we say, I think in almost every episode, whatever you think you do, if you have to think I have to pee, you're on the toilet. If you think I'm hungry, you're in front of the fridge. So that's how simple it is. Whatever you're thinking on the inside is the world that you're getting on the outside.
Yep,
So what
absolutely.
so what do you want it to look like?
And
Okay?
listen, it is going to be challenging. These are beliefs that have been ingrained in you for, 35, 40, 50 years, right? So you are going to have to work on and repeatedly remind yourself that another kind of world exists, right? It's not just a world of not enough money. There's also a world of too much money. And
Yeah.
you see it. You see it, but are you looking at those people and stating, they're lucky? They grew up with it. They inherited it. Do you look at people like Jeff Bezos, who is a regular working man and who's now created massive success? Do you look at him and say, if he just gave there's 8 billion people on the planet. If he gave 1 billion to each person, he'd still have over $100 billion, right? Like, do you think things like that? That's the mindset we're talking about, right? That's the mindset of, even if you won the lottery, you'd still lose it all,
Yeah.
because of what you think of on the inside is going to reflect on the outside.
And I can't stand that when people say, why don't they just give up some of their money? That person is there because they put the work in. They wanted to make a change.
Amen.
They seen the life before they fucking did it. They had
Mm-hmm.
the vision in their head and they said, I'm not giving up. I'm not stopping. When doubt comes into my mind or worry or fear or whatever the hell's going to try to stop me, I'm going to say, move the fuck over and I'm going to get it. That's the difference.
Yep.
That's a mentality. He strived to be a multi billionaire, right? You won't get there if you don't think differently. That's the
Yep.
difference. So if you keep sitting there and saying, "Oh, it'd be nice. I wish. They're lucky. They got it handed to them. They're smarter than me." No. We are all put here in this world with the same potential. Every single one of us. It's up to you to make your life the way you want to. Nobody else.
Yep. Donald Trump, $10 billion in debt in the early 90s, and he still became president of the free world with no salary. He didn't pay himself a salary.
Yeah. So what do you want to see? What do you want your world to look like? That all starts within.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you guys want to change your beliefs on money, every Wednesday we are talking about money and beliefs and how to change that paradigm. So make sure that you guys check us out 10 a.m. Eastern. We will put the link below to register. And we talk about all about money and beliefs and how you can change that. And it starts with you.
Absolutely. So stick around or register. That's going to be on Wednesday. And like Sarah said, we'll drop the link. But have an amazing, amazing week. And we'll see you back here on Thursday with another great topic.
Bye.